The vampire queen stood beneath a ceiling of floating stars, her shadow stretching across the alien throne room. Every ruler in the Night Council watched as she turned to me, the only human present. "Are you sure you want me?" she asked calmly, though her crimson eyes carried centuries of war. "I am not mercy. I am not peace. I didn't hesitate. I choose you." Whispers erupted. Humans were forbidden from choosing night sovereigns. Vampires ruled through strength, not consent. To choose her was to abandon my species, or so they believed. The queen stepped closer. "If you choose me, you choose eternal conflict. My enemies will hunt you across systems. You will never return to Earth." "I know," I said. "That's why I'm here." I removed the collar suppressing my identity. The air vibrated as a symbol burned to life across my back, ancient, human, and forbidden. The queen froze. "That mark was destroyed," she whispered. "Only one human bloodline ever carried it." "It wasn't destroyed," I replied. "It was waiting." Long before vampires conquered the dark sectors, humans created a safeguard, a living covenant. A human who could bind the Queen of Night to a higher law, one that protected all species, not just the strongest. The council panicked. The queen slowly lowered herself to one knee, her voice steady but changed. "You did not choose me," she said. "You awakened me." The stars outside shifted as ancient systems came back online. For the first time in centuries, the vampire empire had limits. And for the first time in history, humanity held the night. I didn't choose her because she was dangerous. I chose her because the galaxy needed someone powerful enough to be stopped. The throne room did not celebrate. When the vampire queen rose from her knee, the Night Council recoiled as if the stars themselves had betrayed them. Ancient screens ignited around us, displaying systems long thought dead, human-built war satellites awakening after centuries of silence. "The covenant is active," one elder hissed. "The human has bound her." The queen turned to me, her expression no longer regal, but sharp with something new, respect mixed with danger. "You have chained the night," she said quietly. "Do you understand what follows?" Before I could answer, alarms screamed. Void ships breached the outer perimeter, ravagers of the dark spiral, enemies even the vampires feared. They had sensed the awakening. They always did. "This is why the covenant exists," I said. "Power attracts predators." The queen smiled then, not cruel, but fierce. "Then let them come." She extended her hand. Not as a lover. Not as a ruler. As a weapon. I placed my hand in hers, and the bond surged through us. The chamber cracked as gravity bent. Vampires across the empire felt it, a command they could not ignore. For the first time in their history, the queen fought for something, not dominance, not hunger, but balance. Void ships exploded in silent light outside the windows. The council watched in horror as the truth settled in. The covenant didn't make the queen weaker. It made her focused. When the last enemy signal faded, she released my hand. "The galaxy will hunt you now," she said. "Both sides." "I know," I replied. She turned back to her throne. "Then stand beside me, witness. The night has begun remembering its purpose." As the stars realigned, one thing became clear across the galaxy. Humanity had not returned as conquerors. They had returned as keepers of monsters. Victory did not last. Across the empire, ancient beacons flared crimson. Not enemy signals, rebellion. The Night Lords, pure-blood vampires who rejected the covenant, had risen. They did not fear extinction. They feared control. "The covenant binds only the queen," one counselor warned. "Not those who deny her." The queen stood beside me, her gaze fixed on the burning stars. "They will come for you first," she said. "If you die, the covenant dies." That was always the plan, I answered. She turned sharply. Human plans usually include survival. This one includes responsibility. The Night Lords arrived without warning, tearing open space above the capital. The sky darkened as their flagship descended, broadcasting a single demand. Hand over the human. The council hesitated. The queen did not. She raised her voice, and every shadow in the city obeyed. He is under my protection. The battle was brief and brutal. But the Night Lords had prepared a weapon designed to kill the Covenant itself. When it fired, the queen screamed, not in pain, but in fury, as the bond began to unravel. I stepped forward. The Covenant was never meant to last forever, I said. It was meant to end the cycle. I activated the final command. The sigil burned white, transferring the bond completely, away from the queen, into me. The Night Lords froze. So did she. You will die, she said softly. I know. The energy tore through my body, broadcasting a new law across the empire: no ruler without balance, no power without limit. When the light faded, the Night Lords were gone. The queen stood alone. She knelt again, this time to a memory. Humanity didn't rule the night. It redefined it. And the galaxy learned its final lesson. Sometimes, choosing the monster is the only way to teach it how to stop. The galaxy did not collapse after my death. That surprised everyone. The Covenant broadcast had rewritten the laws of power across the vampire empire. Thrones still existed, fleets still ruled the dark, but something fundamental had changed. Every ruler now felt it, a constant pressure, an invisible weight reminding them that domination had limits. They called it the human law. The vampire queen stood alone on the balcony of the night citadel, watching stars drift where war once burned. The bond was gone, yet its echo remained, carved into the fabric of her existence. For the first time, she said quietly, "The night is quiet." Centuries earlier, silence would have terrified her. Now, it felt earned. Across human space, the story spread, not as propaganda, but as warning. Humans were no longer conquerors or victims. They were remembered as architects of restraint. The species that built monsters, and then taught them when to stop. Some vampires hated my name. Others revered it. Most simply avoided speaking it at all. The queen never forgot. She ordered a single statue raised in the capital. Not of a warrior. Not of a king. A human, standing unarmed, facing the dark. No title beneath it. No dates. Only one sentence, written in ancient night script. He chose responsibility over survival. When young vampires asked why humans were allowed to walk freely through the empire now, elders answered carefully. Because one of them proved power can be trusted, if it's willing to die. The queen turned back toward the stars. The night still belonged to monsters. But it was no longer without witnesses. And somewhere, in every shadowed system, rulers remembered the same truth. The most dangerous choice a human can make is not choosing power, but choosing limits. They thought the story had ended. They were wrong. Years after the Covenant, a signal echoed from beyond mapped space, older than vampires, older than humanity. A force that had been watching silently, waiting for limits to exist. The architects had awakened. They created the first predators, the ancient records revealed. Vampires were only a prototype. The galaxy panicked. Fleets gathered. Empires argued. The vampire queen did not move. She stood before the human statue as alarms screamed across the capital. He warned us, she whispered. Limits invite judgment. The architects transmitted a single message to every species. Return to chaos, or be erased. Stars began to vanish. Entire systems folded inward, erased without explosion or fire. Clean. Final. The queen made a choice no ruler had ever made. She walked into the forbidden chamber beneath the citadel, where the Covenant's echo still slept. She pressed her hand to the stone. "Witness," she said softly, not knowing if anyone could hear. "If you exist beyond death, answer me." The chamber ignited. A human silhouette formed, not alive, not dead, but remembered. "I told you," the voice said. Limits were only the first step. The truth shattered everything. The Covenant was never meant to stop monsters. It was meant to prepare them. Across the galaxy, rulers felt it, the final command activating. Power across all species began to collapse into balance. The architects faltered. For the first time, something older than night hesitated. The human figure faded. "Now they choose," it said. The architects withdrew. The queen fell to her knees, not in defeat, but awe. The galaxy survived not because of strength, but because one human taught monsters how to stand equal. And in every dark corner of space, a final warning spread. If humanity ever returns again, it won't be as conquerors. It will be as judges.